West Indies have won the T20I series, and they have paid back India in equal measure. If the fourth T20I was a one-sided affair where India dominated, won it with ease, winning it by 9 wickets, West Indies said, we'll come back and give it back as good as we get and win this particular game by 8 wickets with plenty to spare. So in that sense, I guess it's exactly the same kind of result, just that the winning teams have been different in these 2 T20Is that we've seen that were played in the US of A. Overall, West Indies winning the series, and plenty to talk about from India's bowling, India's batting, the decision by Hardik Pandya and so on and so forth. But I'll start with, anyone worried with this loss, disappointed with this loss, this T20I losing to a team that didn't qualify for the ODI World Cup and did not make it to the main draw of the T20I World Cup?
Not disappointed, because India has been masters of giving us disappointments for 10 years.
Oh, I thought he said not disappointed. I thought he was going to say no, it's okay. But he is saying it's okay because he expected India to lose. They are.
See, I was the one who told.
Habit of it. Is that what you're saying?
Making a habit of it. I had predicted that they would win either 4-1 or 3-2. At the very start of this series, I had given that same scoreline. 3-2 has happened, but in the case of West Indies. So thank you, India, for ensuring my prediction goes all right. Number one. Number two.
They're not here to ensure your prediction.
Well, for most fans, they would have betted on the fact that okay, India should win. At least we hope that the depth that Hardik Pandya spoke about, we could field 2-3 international teams. Of course, it added with the caveat that okay.
No, but he also said that listen, these are the resources we have, and we are only batted till number 7. We won't make any changes.
That's their fault, by the way.
That's their fault.
Yeah, whatever it is.
No. Look at the statement today.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at the statement at the start.
The courage that was shown in the toss,
Courage.
and the fact that it was emphasized that this team wants to take up challenges.
Challenges.
Yeah, that's what
when you are 2-2 level in a decider, I want to challenge myself. Really? That means you're living like a delusion. Like the Indian cricket team is behaving like scientists who don't have a science degree. They just want to experiment.
That's a first. Scientists, come again, repeat.
This Indian cricket team, they are like scientists who don't have a science degree.
So self-proclaimed scientists.
Yes. They just want to experiment, thinking, we'll get the eureka moment. But more than experimentation, they are only disintegrating. That is the problem. Now, in what common mind, consider what was the mindset of the 2011 team. It is well chronicled. They thought that 1 year prior to the World Cup, every game was considered as a knockout. Every game. That's what built them for that 2011 World Cup. Here, 7 months are remaining for the T20 World Cup. 7 to 8 months. 10 months. 10 months for the T20 World Cup in 2024. Played at the same region. US and the Caribbean. Here you are saying, oh my God, let's just seek out some new challenges. Are you the Australian or the Windies juggernaut? Even they never experimented that much. And they are saying, let us do that. And this is why I am like...
Akshit loves your comment, says very well said by Siddharth sir. But before Siddharth sir goes further and ridicules the Indian team, Shane and Harshit, any thoughts?
No, I mean, look, it's not a good sign, because you would expect even a weakened or a new, fresh, young, whatever team term you want to use, to be beating this side. I don't think it would be comprehensive. I thought it would be 3-2 and I thought they would be tested. I was right on both counts, just that I didn't expect the 3-2 would be for West Indies.
So does your outlook change? 3-2 you expected India to win, 3-2 they've lost. Close then, close now. Does your outlook change? Are you as despondent as...
No, I think more than anything else, I was a little baffled at the choice today. If you have a series on the line, not the time to be challenging yourself. I think you'd go for the win regardless. Especially when you see, I think last match also, you won the game comfortably whilst chasing, which is exactly what happened today also. You had the chance to chase and you didn't take it. I don't get it.
I have an unpopular opinion. I think I didn't mind the decision that was made at the toss. Because again, and I'm going to go back to what was said earlier as well in a different format of the series that was played prior to this one, that you wouldn't have learned anything new having stuck with what you've already stuck with, and that was with regards to players.
But you've not learned anything new today also.
Yeah,
you knew you're bad at setting a target.
So I think, just let me complete. So they very well could have lost the toss and have been asked to bat first as well. That could also have been the thing. And then India would have had no option but to bat first, right? So maybe this is what they were told themselves, that there will be times in the future that we will be asked to bat first. It is not going to go as per our liking. Let's just see how well we fare on tricky surfaces. That is what Hardik said, and that is the challenge that they wanted to pose for themselves as well. They didn't rise to the occasion, and that's the takeaway from that. Now the answer is there, that you can't be adventurous, you need to be calculative, and you need to think straight at times. Be plain and simple.
World Cup is here in this
But it's a different format.
No, but I
It's a different format.
T20 World Cup is here in
T20
7
World Cup, but
months
again,
time.
we can-
Here, Siddharth made a point. What's
I will say that by the next World Cup, you would have had a full-fledged IPL, a longer IPL with 90 games this time around. You would have had multiple T20I series take place. You would have had probably some players come back as well. So it's going to be a new look scenario altogether. So everything that's happening right now, barring let's say a couple of takeaways in let's say your Yashasvi giving you runs at the top, in terms of Tilak also being there, I think that's enough answers for now. The actual picture anyway pans out later on. Series defeat, I'll take it as long as there are some questions that are answered for me.
In the era of 4K cameras, you're still using the Kodak for vision. This is the way how blurred your vision is. Can't you ever, why aren't people going old school? What is every team's first priority? To win.
True.
Either a match or a series.
True.
If India wanted to challenge themselves with, if the scoreline at 3-1 and if this was a dead rubber, then I would have had absolutely no problem.
So I would have come down, let's say, as heavily as you are at the moment, if we end up being so, and it would be a misadventure when we play Australia, let's say 10 days ahead of the World Cup start. You don't, at that point, with that series, I don't expect such tinkering and such decision making and such audaciousness to be there. I am fine right now. We're looking at a different format, a World Cup which is good 10 months away, and the focus at the moment is the ODI World Cup. Simple as that.
But even in your ODI World Cup plans, okay, you are causing more chaos and confusion by resting Rohit and Virat. You're batting Ishan Kishan, who's gotten 350s. Great, good for him. And that means he's making the trip to the World Cup squad. That's guaranteed. But in the Asia Cup and in the World Cup, you are going to bat him out of position.
True.
So every defeat gives you answers, and the answer is either you are too complacent, which is why 2 times this has happened. When you have been complacent, you have been playing with that same team. Oh, we can play with 3-4 international teams. You lost to Sri Lanka. That was your last T20I series loss, and happened in 2021, which was also a T20 World Cup year. You lost now, although different format, but any series loss does impact momentum in the longer run. We may not see it now because it's the West Indies. But remember, the West Indies have lost a lot of series. They haven't won many series, which is why you have to ask even more questions.
Why are we talking about the ODI World Cup? What is this T20 series got to do with that? The ODI World Cup, your ODI team will play. You had an issue with Ishan batting out of position. That was raised after the ODI series got over. This is the T20I series.
Yes.
What bearing does this T20I series have on the ODI World Cup? Barring the fact that you would have been looking at a few players who are under trial for the ODI World Cup.
Yeah.
So you may have been looking at,
Surya Kumar
Yadav, or even Sanju Samsung, or whoever else you're looking at in terms of maybe you will take them, not take them, or even if you have a bit of a doubt, you're just looking at that. My point is, the loss of his series, this T20I series, how does that impact India's T20I cricket? And I think the biggest issue right now, which most people would be worried, because whatever was to be done with ODI, that's done now. ODI series got over.
Yeah.
We looked at the experiments. Why was Rohit batting there? Was Ishan to be played? All those issues have been addressed. After that was done, we all knew that this is a young team that is going to be playing. What is it that we were looking in this T20I series when it started? We were looking at a young T20I team under the captainship of Hardik Pandya, and how does this young T20I team perform? Because as we now know, that this is going to be your team for the next T20I World Cup. And I think the only thing most of us were looking out in this T20I series, barring those few players which I've just mentioned for ODI, but that's also a very individual outlook where we're just seeing whether they are good enough to go for ODI. But team-wise, so I'm just looking at T20I series. And so I know a lot of people would be disappointed that, listen, we have gone away from Rohit Sharma, we've gone away from Virat Kohli, and this is the team. And this is the team, if it's losing to West Indies, God knows what this team is going to be doing, because I know a lot of Indian fans would have pinned their hopes on this team to do something at the T20I World Cup after two disappointments that we've just had. One which was disastrous, 2021, one which is slightly better but ended on a sour note because of the one-sided semi-final loss against England. So I think all the hopes are resting on this team, because this is that new age team that you're believing that will play the new age template and go forward. And now this team has lost to West Indies, and so I know a lot of folks would be worried. If you ask me for my personal opinion, I'll take this loss for a few reasons. One, what was happening before those T20I World Cup? We would win every bilateral series, and we'd end up at a big tournament, and then play safe cricket on the big day, where everyone would be adventurous or challenge the opposition team. I think somewhere Hardik Pandya, being part of those T20I squads as captain, is kind of realized that safe approach. What is that safe approach? Safe approach is to do the right thing on the given day and win. And that's what we were doing on those bilateral series before we were going to T20 World Cups. Now that earlier approach would have been that today was a must-win game. You knew that chasing would have won you the game. You would have won the toss. You would have chased. You would have won this series. And you would have gone on to win a few more bilateral series. Till such time when you reach the knockout stage or a very important game where then you don't win the toss or are expected to do something out of the ordinary, and that's when you freeze and that's when you lose. So I think somewhere, and there is logic in why Hardik may have done that, is that because he's tasted defeats like that earlier, maybe he wants this team. And what's the harm in trying those experiments now? I'd rather have them try these experiments 7 months in advance rather than 7 weeks in advance, which we may be doing with our ODI team. Maybe he foresees that it's okay to do all of this now. What that will do is, maybe the team today realizes that when you bat first on a track and you're always going for 200, sometimes you don't end up getting 200 because you're over adventurous. Maybe this is a lesson. It's better they take that lesson now rather than do it at a World Cup or at a big stage. I think that's why. I don't think that India, if India was to win the series, they had won the toss today, they could have chased and very well could have won the game. But they didn't do it. They have not done it. So that. The second, I am ready to be a bit lenient with the youngster, Yashasvi Jaiswal, playing only his second game, na?
Third.
Yeah, third T20I. He's had that one failure. He's a young kid. He will get far more many opportunities. That's why I said, I'd rather have these guys play the next 7 months, these guys only, these youngsters only, in that one way that they can. Aggressive cricket, attacking cricket, you'll succeed in some, you'll fail in some, but persist with it, keep going till the time that 7 month is done, that transition has happened, and this young team then is at least on top of the game. Whether they win or not, I don't know, but may give themselves the best chance of doing it. So I don't mind some of the youngsters failing. All of them are very young in their T20I careers, including Yashasvi Jaiswal, Tilak Verma, Sanju Samson doesn't get too many chances. Hardik kind of playing a different role. And the third point is, you don't have your full-fledged T20I team right now because they're resting for the ODI World Cup. And you did, I'd have to agree with Arshid, you did play this series without the balance. And listening to Hardik Pandya, I don't think that was out of choice, that he said this is the way we will keep playing, that we will go in with this kind of a batting lineup. I think this was by force, where you were forced to play this option because those are the guys you got due to the rest to some of your ODI regulars, not all, but some of those ODI regulars that would eventually be part of your T20S team going forward. Of course, you'll have a few fast bowlers also come in if they are fitted by that time. Let's say Jasprit Bumrah comes back, then it changes the complexion of the team. So I'm okay. I'm not too fussed about India losing this West Indies series, so long as they try to achieve something that will help them do later. And I hope they keep trying that 2-3 months before the T20 World Cup, then play your regular team, then play safer cricket and dancers, but do the experimentation.
The experimentation, again, it will be restricted to just 8 T20Is. 3 that you're going to play against Ireland, new look team altogether. 5 against Australia after the ODI World Cup, where yet again you may not have the core because it's coming right after the ODI World Cup.
What is after the World Cup ends?
No, but I'm sure they'll organize a couple of
Bilaterals.
Trust me.
I'm not just going by that is by
Trust
the way, the schedule that's been announced now, which has Afghanistan, England, Australia, and South Africa too was mentioned in it.
Yeah.
But let's say this Australia series, nobody really knew about it, just came out of nowhere, right? 10 days in advance, 10 days ahead of the World Cup.
Because
I'm expecting at least 2 such series to pop up.
How? Because I'll tell you why. Okay, January you're going to play a test in South Africa, and then you're going to have Afghanistan coming here. Okay?
Yes.
For ODIs,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes.
And also T20Is. Then February to March you're going to play 5 tests against England. So no white ball there. March to May you're going to have the IPL. So with your core you're only going to play about 7 to 8 games. That's it. Now
I think they'll have a few series.
I think there might not be time.
Plus, who needs series when you have the greatest T20 league in the world?
What series?
Yep.
That is the series.
IPL is greater than international cricket, na?
It is.
It is.
Tougher than the...
Tougher.
What more practice do you need? And then you make them play too much of IPL, then get them to play a lot of bilateral series, then workload management will come in.
So that's why you haven't won the T20 World Cup ever since the IPL came.
No. That's
Ever
not
since the IPL came up.
It has nothing to do with the IPL and everything to do with poor mismanagement. Simple as.
Fatigue.
That has nothing to do with the IPL. No, not fatigue.
It has always been the fault of darned 20 minutes which have come here and there.
It's not that. No, every year, think about it, it's always been something or the other which is very obvious weakness. Again, 2017 Champions Trophy. What was the reason? Your wanted top order, couldn't play left arm swing. 2019, every man and their dog knew you didn't have a number 4. 2021 was a disaster from the get-go, and 2022 you kept saying, why do you not have a wrist spinner? Why do you not have a wrist spinner?
So why do you have a wrist spinner?
Who's on the bench?
Only on the bench.
On the bench. But again, see, that means we need certain things, certain factors to go our way. Then and only then we are winning.
No, you need
Which
to.
team wins without factors going?
You need to plan better.
Your Australian team in the early 2000s.
Most of the team need things going
In
there.
all those instances,
They had
by way
the
that
players.
Shane cited,
Australia needed for their dominance to start for Herschel Gibbs to drop that catch. So certain things went their way.
No, I mean, if you look at prior to that also,
They
they
needed Aaron
dominated.
Donald not to run. And stand on the other side of the crease. They needed certain things to go their way.
But Alan Donald didn't run when 1 was needed of 4.
So certain things went their way.
That was Australia's
Things
smartness.
have to go their way.
That was Donald
that
being.
was
Aaron
South
Donald.
Africa shooting
Brain
in the foot.
freeze.
Look, in brain freeze agreed, but in the 90s, who would have thought that, okay, 1 needed of 4, let me get the field in. Forget it.
No, anybody would have. They would have.
That was
Give
South
them
Africa
credit.
shooting themselves in
Yeah.
the foot.
Yeah.
Just
But-
like for India also, they've been architects in their own
Device.
areas.
Absolutely.
In many instances, 2019, the way the whole campaign was managed, the whole team selection and everything. 2021, again.
It is all in the mind. Because I'll say,
Architects in your own
in this
downfall.
way, okay, it's like the reverse of 2003 too. Okay, in 2003, we can't bat first against Australia. Because we'll get bowled out cheaply. In 2003 World Cup that happened, you squandered the best batting advantage.
niche jana.
One. Here, let us try experimenting for the fact that, let us bat first. Because in the 2022 T20 World Cup semi-final, you batted first, you failed. You look at it in the ODIs, in the T20 series at home, some matches you became very, very close while batting first.
Which is why I said that this experiment had no point. Because what did you learn? That you don't know how to set a target. We knew that beforehand.
So that is a blatant that is their weakness in the Indian team. Put them into bat, they can't
You know
win.
why he's so upset? Because you remember mid innings, he picked India to
I
win.
did.
Remember?
I did too,
And now suddenly mid innings. So first tell me, what was your reason for picking India to win in the mid innings? And
Actually,
if you had reasons enough to back India to win, how is it that suddenly you're so upset with them?
I thought the spinners would deliver the goods for.
So look at Kuldeep Yadav. By the way, Kuldeep Yadav, yeah, 4 overs.
they played him out nicely.
18 runs.
Yeah.
Outstanding stuff.
Stuff.
Kuldeep, fantastic. What a series you've had. Is it fair to say that in white ball cricket,
He's much ahead.
he's no for a 50 over World Cup?
Of course,
also.
he's starting.
Sealed at number 1.
Undisputed
That-
first choice.
Yeah, first
I
choice
think
spinner.
Chahal was wicketless in the previous one as
No,
well.
forget that.
Just
I'm
this-
saying look at Kuldeep.
Yeah.
Sealed at
2 for 26 and
And
4 for
I'll tell
18.
you, my reason also behind going for India at the halfway stage was I was riding very much on the Kuldeep factor. I thought,
But he had an outstanding
he
India
did.
debut.
But again, the Windies was smarter on the day. Like you do with Rashid, you don't attack him, you see him out. Which is a Rashid will always be economical, but won't be the most wicket high. The
The
highest
biggest
wicket taker.
difference in the 4th and the 5th T20I was Kuldeep got support in the form of Arshdeep, who took 3 wickets and was economical to a certain extent. But here, he didn't even get wickets. He wasn't even economical. Pandya 10. Arshdeep
To be fair, no one
10.
was economical.
No,
Except for-
forget it. That's why I'm asking. Nobody else matches Kuldeep. Today, I completely agree, and nobody expected it. This was a batting pitch. We saw that in the previous game as well. Bowlers would have to go for it, which is why I'm saying Kuldeep's achievement is incredible in both those games. Smaller boundaries. You saw this one delivery where Yuzi, I think, beat the batsman Brendan King. If it
Brandon
was,
King, yeah.
I thought he had mistimed it.
But flew.
Single-handed, one hand went for a six.
Six.
Because of such short boundaries.
On the flattest surface, on the smallest boundaries, Kuldeep ends with 8 overs for 44 runs and 2 wickets
Imagine.
in the 2 matches. 4-18-0, 4-26-2.
Anybody believes that he's not going to be in that 11 of the World Cup unless injury over.
No.
The Indian team management. After a good performance, they want to drop him, nah. That's been the trend.
To
with
be
Kuldeep.
fair, they've backed him consistently because he was, and I keep saying this, he was
now
your.
it's not happening.
No, but
The
because he
Bali-
was your first choice, even in all the white ball series you had prior to the IPL. So even there, Chahal would play 1 game. If you were playing a 3-match series, Chahal was playing 1 game. Kuldeep was playing 2, which meant he was always ahead. They noticed that Chahal's form had been kind of on a downtrend, and they stuck with Kuldeep. At least in tests, no, they haven't. But in white ball cricket, they've been very consistent. Thankfully.
Thank goodness for that, for the time being. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
So I thought with the way Kuldeep is bowling and if the support that he got from the other bowlers that was there in the 4th T20I, I thought India would win. But hello, Yajuvendra Chahal turns up, concedes a 50 of his own. In his entire career in 80 matches, he's had 6 runs. In the ball, he concedes 51. And after that, if we have to look at it, Arshdeep and Hardik 10.7 and 10, no wickets. That was the key. Otherwise, if they had also chipped in with the wickets and they had bowled the perfect lengths, India could have made a big fight out of this.
Arshdeep actually was again today falling victim to the same thing which happens to him, is that under a little bit of pressure, he becomes errant.
So about that. The one thing, and it's happening again and again, I think, and while we were watching this, there were shades of that match in Adelaide against England. I was constantly reminded of. Every time the ball especially was hit down the ground, for some reason I had Hales and Butler in my head.
Yeah.
Having said that, the cause of worry, and while I said earlier on as well that I'll take this defeat, but the one worry or the one point that's bothering me at the moment is on flat tracks, apart from a Kuldeep who with his wrist spin, Chinaman, and his ability to take the ball away and bring it in, the others struggle. The supporting spinner alongside him. I'm just saying, in another scenario, it probably would have been, not Aksar or Yuzi, it would have been Jadeja.
It would have been Ravi Jadeja.
If you're playing with your ideal 11, Jadeja also would have struggled over here.
I think he would have been
sure
far more
because-
No, he would have been far more economical.
But
Jadeja is a
just
far
like-
better spinner
see-
than Akshar.
Aksar, the way I look at it is because Aksar, on a surface like this, Jadeja would have been pretty much the same as Aksar would have been.
Akshar, I'm sorry, is a very one-dimensional bowler.
Come on.
Jaddu
This service
varies
to,
his length and he varies his pace also.
But he
Aksar doesn't do that.
He also gets targeted on surfaces.
No problem.
Using
does.
Ravindra Jadeja when there isn't much turn. And
No,
this
no,
is,
no. He can.
He manages better than what Akshar does because Akshar
I'm
is
saying
a left arm.
this is-
Also, so much experience, yeah, that Jadeja carries,
Yeah.
which will help.
With
No,
Akshar,
there's no comparison.
no, I'm saying even in an
Test
ideal-
match,
Test match, Akshar is a god in these sort of circumstances. He'll bowl one arm ball after the next, no one reads it.
T20, no.
No.
No, so Kuldeep guaranteed in the 11.
Yes.
By the way, there was always a bit of a question mark over whether you would make the squad, right? Because you would go with Kuldeep, you would go with a Jadeja,
And you may go with Akshar.
Akshar as the backup for Jadeja. Fourth may not have been possible, and you were saying whether Yuzi goes or not. Now, this T20I performance, which hasn't been great, to be honest, for Yuzi, will it impact his chances of not making it to the 50 over World Cup 50?
Let me make one thing clear. When Yuzvendra Chahal was bowling brilliantly for 2 years, he never made it.
Agreed,
But he was picked.
no doubt. But
He didn't
that's
make it
gone.
at 2021.
21 he didn't.
22
he was
on the
picked.
bench.
But he didn't play.
He didn't play.
Now
that,
what are the signs?
that was a wrong, and those were two wrongs.
Yeah.
Now, but those two wrongs are done.
Done.
You've
Now-
criticized it enough, it's gone. Tell me now,
Now, no.
does he make it?
No,
The
because see-
15-member squad.
No, because with Akshar, at the very least, you can at least fall back in the fact that he's as close to a like for like for Jadeja. And if he doesn't perform with the ball, he might get you a couple of performances with the bat. With Yuzi, you might just put him in the standbys. I think.
Yuzi is not making it.
I think he goes to the
Also
standbys.
because, like we were talking earlier as well in the day, that you're expecting most tracks in India to be flatter decks, barring let's say Lucknow, which nobody knows what that surface could be like, Delhi, and Chennai also was saying it's turning out to be a little flatter than it historically has been. So looking at the conditions as well, you'll say that and you'll obviously be looking at the series as well, that if Yuzi can't do this, if he's not,
But
he's not big turner on
Yuzi
the ball.
was a specialist on flat track.
He made his career in the Chinnaswamy.
Chinnaswamy Stadium, short boundaries,
Short boundary, flat track.
and he somehow found a way to be successful there.
Yeah.
It's not happening at the moment.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. So the two wrongs were done. One, he didn't get picked in the 2021
So
World
was
Cup.
Harshal, but look what
2022
happened.
got picked but did not play. Now it's a 50 over World Cup, different format. But don't tell me that these performances will not be taken into account. I'm sure they will be.
For ODI
You like
World
it or
Cup.
not.
Yeah, of course. They will.
He
like
should
it or
have
not?
played at least the ODIs in West Indies. He should have been picked to at least give him a fairer chance.
You only would have been criticizing that why did you drop Kuldeep? Arey, come on, yaar.
Yeah, but then see, I had favored the Kulcha duo playing together.
That's never happening. Never happening.
That means, see, you're not dropping Kuldeep. Then what chance do you have with Yuzvendra Chahal coming?
And you're
If
not
he had
dropping
done well.
Shardul now from ODIs.
No, not a chance. Lord for life.
See, Shardul, Siraj, Shami, Bumrah, they are all your pacers. That's done
That's
and dusted.
pretty much done.
Yeah.
Then you got Aksar, Jadeja, Kuldeep.
Kuldeep.
The only chance that you
That's it.
had
Can
was
we see
Kuldeep
please,
/ Chahal. But
Photo
with the
nahi chase,
performances
no?
that
Essay
is
is
there, I think it's not happening. So you've got 7 bowlers and 7 plus you're going to pick 8 batters in the 15-man squad. That's it. There seems to be no place for Yuzi Chahal. Now if the Indian team management believes, oh, we did those 2 wrongs, with the wrong currently happening, let's
wrongs.
make it a right. Get him in the team. Then
No,
I mean,
two
I
rounds
would-
won't make for a right 10 months or a year and a half later.
I would
Exactly.
still want a leggy in the team. Yeah. How could you go to a World Cup without a leggy?
Well, we were saying that for an off spinner as well. This team doesn't have an
No,
off
but
spinner.
off spinners so much in white ball cricket, I don't think is a necessity.
No, but then if you have.
But a leggy.
But if you
But, I mean, Kuldeep is basically a.
no, but different, na?
No,
Yeah.
Left arm Chinaman.
Lifetime Chinamen are even more.
Rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the stock delivery is completely the opposite, right? It's a different.
The problem is because he can get the ball to spin
Bowls is
both
good
ways.
knees, I agree. But I'm just saying a leggy is not a Chinaman.
We cannot get a place for an off
It's like
spinner.
an off spinner is not a left arm orthodox.
No, I get your point, but
They're not that.
See, the problem is we can't fit in an off spinner in this team. What is that big chance that you'll fit a leg spinner?
No, right
in the
now you
team?
can't.
But off spinner too.
You don't need an off spinner in ODI cricket.
Leg spinners are there in white ball cricket.
actually,
Off spinners are-
ideally, the worst problem is that you don't have a leg spinning all rounder.
yeah.
You don't have a Shadab, let's say.
Or a Hasaranga.
Vanindu, yeah.
Vanindu Hasranga.
Or the
This.
Hasaranga. By the way, guys, fresh off the press, this is what Hardik Pandya has said right after losing the West Indies T20I series, and I'd love to know your thoughts. He says, I believe we are going to challenge ourselves. We try to get better. In hindsight, it is fine. We don't need to explain much. He's talking about the series loss. I know how the boys are within the group. We have enough time to figure out. Losing is good at times. It is part of the process. So he's actually kind of echoing everything that I said, which I'm happy that, because we were just second guessing, right? We were just thinking that this could be his thought process, though I never said that, we don't need to explain much. We did that explanation for you. So what he's trying to say is that he did it because they wanted to challenge themselves, like make it tougher for them to win. Okay. He's also saying that in hindsight you can say that we did it wrong, but it's fine. I don't need to explain this to the world outside because you know what you are doing, basically. He says he also knows how the boys are within the group, so he's pretty confident that the boys themselves know what they're doing. They may have had conversations that, listen, we'll challenge ourselves, let's try and get out of the comfort zone and do the tougher things so that we are prepared slightly better for competition ahead, which sometime Indian team has not been doing. They've been found wanting, in fact, in those situations. And he says that we have enough time to figure out, which is also something that we alluded to before, that there's still 7 months, I think, enough time where they can look at, trying different things. He's saying losing is good at time, which I find very interesting. So maybe there is more to learn from this loss, which then they can rectify. And I think that they have 7 months. That's why I keep saying that, but it's a good time to do all of this now and learn rather than do it a month before that T20 World Cup. And he says, the most famous line in Indian cricket, please repeat after me. 1, 2, 3.
It is part of the process.
I'm waiting for that PhD comment again, whatever that was the other day. Who said?
That was for learning.
Yeah, we're still learning. I mean,
Any thoughts?
this same quotes will be spoken 1 month prior to the start of the T20 World Cup in 2024.
Why are you such a pessimist?
No, I won't be surprised with what.
You're a realist, is it?
I'm a practicalist.
But and while we were reading these comments, exactly that thought came to my mind. But also at the same time, the thought that occurred was that this time around, the conversation around the World Cup's already started. You actually made those changes in the sense that you're looking at a new captain, you're bringing new players, you're bringing in new players. So there is some vision over here. I hopefully will not see arbitrariness over there.
There is one thing will remain constant in this entire quote. It is
Process.
part of the process. We have to evolve. We have to grow.
Show us.
And losing is good
Sure.
at times.
See,
Comments.
you're conducting experiments. See, the Indian team is trying to become like Frankenstein, where they'll destroy everything and everybody in their path. But in the end, they are not even coming close to Frankenstein. That's my worry.
Okay, before we take the comments, one final word. Thoughts on Tilak Verma. One of the positives of the series has been Tilak Verma's performance with the bat, but today
With the ball.
was finally given the ball that we were so
Could have had
saying.
2 wickets.
In fact, if you go back to our pre-series show T20I, and I did ask this question, what is it that you're looking forward to? I remember clearly picking that I'm looking forward to watching Tilak Verma bowl because I want more and more batters who can bowl sort of players coming back. The last one was
Rena Yuvraj probably.
no, my good friend from Pune,
Oh, Kedar Jadhav.
Kedar Jadhav.
Malai
technically-
Kofta.
No, but technically after that there was a Deepak Hooda also. They played him. They didn't again bowl him too much.
Bowl him too
Yeah.
much,
But,
yeah.
but one of those batters who could bowl and bowl decently. At that, of course, he hasn't had a great time with the bat.
He had a 4-wicket haul in New Zealand.
Which
yeah.
is why he's
all
out.
in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Atrocious IPL, and now he's not in the scheme.
Which is fair. I'm just saying the last one that they had.
Yeah.
So really happy to see Tilak Verma getting the ball and he could do no wrong. Second delivery.
Could have got 2 wickets if not for that dropped catch.
Dropped
Actually,
catch,
he would have had 2 wickets today.
And he was troubling the batters
That's
more than if you may say the other bowlers, barring Kuldeep, he was troubling them a lot more.
Brilliant.
Off-spinner.
Tilak, I'm very excited watching him, and that's why I say that all of these youngsters like Yashashvi, Tilak, the way they play, the kind of impact that they're having. 7 months time, they'll be ready. Hopefully, you'll also have, of course, Sky in
Yeah.
T20s. Will be good once your Kuldeep is in outstanding form. Once Bumrah and all are firing on all cylinders, if they are, Siraj and Bumrah
Yeah.
come back. I'm guessing may not be Shami, I guess, or maybe I don't know, but at least Siraj and Bumrah
Shubman
for sure.
in fine form, hopefully.
Shubman if in good form. Then you're looking at a good T20 team. You're looking at a team that could challenge. I mean, they need that experience also. A few more
Yeah.
series with they'll play.
With Virat Kohli coming back in the midst.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Who knows?
So at least your number 4 conundrum is sorted then. Surya bats at 4.
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
So
Vishal Panchal from the US is saying, most of the World Cup squads have surprise selection. What do you think, guys? What do you guys think will be a surprise
same thing
selection?
that we said no, that there will be that one last moment entry, surprise entry. He's saying. So do you think this World Cup squad will have a surprise entry?
Ash Anna.
Interesting one. I don't agree with him, but you never know. He could be right. Anybody?
Prasidh Krishna, if you just have to take a punt.
Yeah, we discussed that. Prasidh
Yeah.
Krishna maybe. Again, outside chance, but if one of your top 4 goes and he has a very good Ireland series, he could just suddenly come into.
Especially considering he was mostly playing ODIs last year. So,
Yeah.
I'll say Jaydev will not cut.
hardly a surprise is.
No, but him making it in that. There'll be 4 fast bowlers. How do you fit in? There's Shami, Siraj, Bumrah, and Shardul.
And actually, he
I
offers
want-
nothing else.
I'd
He
actually-
doesn't offer anything
No.
in ODI cricket.
And I actually
Sorry.
want Sanju Samson to be that surprising. But it won't be the case.
Actually, if you ask me to pick that surprise, I
Don't
may
say Tilak.
I may say no. Tilak won't come. Shreyas Iyer could be surprised because right now everyone's saying
Because no one knows about his fitness.
No one is fit, and suddenly he gets fit. If he's fit and he comes, so that's a surprise.
Surprise.
Because right now I think most people have given up hope
mean,
that he'll be fit enough.
Shreyas Iyer should do that RDX dialogue from Welcome.
RDX dialogue from Welcome. What was it?
Abhi tak hum zinda hai. RDX.
Yeah, I remember.
When he lands.
Prince. Shubman Gill. Looking at this performance.
No, Yuvraj Singh.
Of course, UV Pi. Yep. Looking at this performance, is IPL
Oh.
overrated?
But who's the original Prince in cricket?
Kolkata.
Where Gangu?
Prince of Kolkata. No.
Yeah. No, there is someone else in the 80s.
Brian Shaw's Lara.
BC Lara is the
DC
Prince.
Lara.
The
Oh.
original Prince.
The
King,
most.
because King was there.
Rich-
Was
Richards.
Viv.
So that's why Prince was.
Yeah.
So we also had a king. We have a prince now in the
Prince
nation.
now. The most difficult batting stance or technique to copy. Oof.
Brian Lara, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the way how you dance
Yeah,
around,
yeah.
I mean, and that backlift.
Backlift.
Oof.
Insane.
But Prince's question, please.
Looking at this performance, is IPL overrated?
No. Don't blame the IPL for your own shortcomings or bad decision making at the international level. It's a convenient scapegoat, nothing else.
Could be right.
IPL is
What
great.
if the league got to do with doing well? Right?
Huh.
The league is there for everyone. The foreign players come make use of it
And they win.
Get form in the IPL and then go and win.
Yeah. See, Shubman Gill can make 890 runs, 980 runs in one season. But in the World Test Championship, he'll end up with just 27 runs, no problem. Because,
But that has nothing to do with the IPL. That's
Fatigue.
his poor application.
Fatigue.
No, not fatigue.
of course,
Poor application. Simple as.
poor application, but because you have to suddenly turn on from one
Exactly,
format to
one
the
week.
other.
One
One
week.
week.
Then if fatigue is an issue, then
Don't play the IPL.
BCCI should step in.
Don't play the IPL. Oh my
don't
God.
play the IPL.
BCCI
Prioritize.
will get, absolutely, they'll get apoplectic.
Then BCCI should step in and tell those players that you're not going to play the last few games and compensate those
If it's
players.
not the players, then the franchise. They're the big
Oh, no,
man,
no,
the big
no.
bucks.
See,
How are we gonna
see,
let go?
in January, just like all the greatest commandments written in the world, the BCCI had said, oh, the NCA will monitor.
January 1.
Yeah, the NCA will monitor all the players. If you feel that you have to be ready for World Test Championship duty, folks, you have to tell the franchisee, please let me prepare, because international glory could be greater than club glory. Maybe. Ideal world, in a great world of utopia, that didn't happen. The franchisees themselves, and Rohit Sharma himself admitted, oh, the franchisees own us for 2 months. So what? ठीक है.
But
So
again-
IPL is the monster that you created. Great. Let us all wallow and let us all just be very happy with the fact that monster is giving us plenty of entertainment. Fine. Then international success be damned.
But again, my point is, if you have good IPLs happening or bad IPLs happening, what is stopping your decision making? The people making those decisions, making good decisions. Why do you need to drop your wrist spinner for an off spinner? That what does the IPL have to do with that?
Point.
Because he had a great IPL.
He didn't have a great IPL, yaar. Come on.
21-22. Yuzvendra Chahal.
No. I'm talking about Ashwin.
Ashwin, I'm not talking about Ashwin, I'm talking about Chahal. You make IPL, see, conveniently you make the IPL the benchmark for success, but then you don't play him. Then why do you keep it as a benchmark?
Different strokes, different folks. Why you
Okay, this is a never-ending debate.
Yeah.
Sandeep Anand.
Hardik Pandya is,
His opinion.
arrogant cricketer, which has always led to his downfall. His statements are so egoistic, someone, not what a leader should ever be. See, it's not egoistic or arrogant. I think he's
blunt.
trying to be calm.
He's blunt. There's a big difference.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's egoistic.
Yeah, even I also don't agree. I think he's trying to be calm.
He's not trying to be calm. He's
I'm
blunt.
saying, why are you criticizing somebody for his attitude in the sense of what he says or how he says it? I think he needs to be criticized or praised
For his captaincy decisions.
For two, yardsticks: his captaincy and his performance. So if he's captaining well and he's arrogant, I'll take a Ricky Ponting any day. If he's not captaining well and not playing well, he could be the sweetest guy on the planet.
Doesn't matter.
Could be whatever. It could be Kane Williamson. But if he's not performing, then doesn't matter. So,
But
and I don't find it arrogant.
He's not arrogant.
I find it.
Hardik Pandya is a very nice guy. He's a very cool guy.
That I don't
He's
know.
not-
You know him well. I don't know.
I have, whatever I've seen of him after what he underwent about 2-3 years back, I think he's become very mellow. He's
He
quite
has.
honest and forthright about what he wants to do.
I've only met. I mean, I've met him a few times briefly, but I've spent some time with him, about an hour with him, interviewing him in a very casual, relaxed atmosphere, and I found him to be a very friendly, very nice, down to earth sort of a guy.
Actually, the problem is when he talks, it tends to come across as arrogant because he's very to the point.
But
He doesn't sugarcoat things. He's very blunt.
I think his uber cool sort of demeanor is misconstrued at times.
Yeah.
Maybe.
His confidence is mistaken for arrogance. Simple as.
But his decision making in the series has been really 50-50.
That is a valid criticism.
No, but we've raised those questions.
Not giving.
We've not let him go by.
Yes, exactly. We asked those questions and we did hold him guilty.
But
for
then that doesn't mean that I'm going to criticize everything that I see. of
Yeah.
him. I think today I can see why he's done it. Remember, I also tell you, he's been part of those two campaigns. He's probably seen what has gone wrong. Maybe those are the things he wants this team to improve on, and you can only improve on if you put them in that situation. It's better to do it now.
So I think the decision even today was.
Because he said this, right, when the team was losing, he did point out in a few team meetings what was going wrong. And so he has a few ideas and he's trying to implement those. And every captain will have a different way of looking at it. I think he's drawing from his experience of those two T20I failures as a member of the team. And now as captain, he thinks those are the areas that you can work on. And so that's the process that he's working towards. If it doesn't work in the World Cup, then you know that there'll be brickbats and he'll have to take that.
Today was, I think, his way of preparing for that rainy day. You've seen those rainy days happen.
More than rainy days, I think it's his way of preparing a team to play in a way come what the situation, whatever the circumstances, we have to set up a total, or however you have to. It could be in the first game. Nowadays, T20 World Cup is so important. First 2-3 games, if you falter, you're gone. So I'm saying, whatever way, whichever day, boss, you have to play
fearlessly. Same way.
If you are preparing for a rainy day, you are losing your basic fundamentals.
You have to if you're preparing for a rainy day, you have to be slightly better prepared than the ground staff.
Yes, at
not a hill.
Not a hill.
Slightly better. They also tried their best with limited resources, whatever they could. But still, water spilled.
See, Hardik Pandya is like the Mumbai definition of Shana. He's trying to be Shana.
No.
Shana is over smart.
No, not over smart.
It is over smart.
He is street smart.
No.
Shana is
smart is not.
Smart.
No. Shana is derogatory. You say,
exactly. Shana ban raha
Shana
But it depends on the context. It's not over smart.
It's
casual.
बहुत शाना है वो. That means
he's too smart.
Cunning.
Tries to be smart.
Even I know that. Yes.
I don't think so. Because
here it does have that meaning, but I think over there the connotation is very different.
No, it's not.
See, the thing is, look, he's trying to prepare for a rainy day. Agar that is the thing, that means Shana hai in that sense.
No.
Of course.
I don't know whether it means that. Okay, I get your sentiment, but I think the word would be something else. Maybe.
Mirage Rules is saying we are missing a match winner in middle over, someone like Livingston, Marsh, Pooran. Current players are replica of Virat, Rohit and KL. I don't know if this team has lack of skill or is lack of form.
Probably lack of momentum. Yeah, momentum and form.
You've got a Surya, you've got a Tilak.
But the one thing which I just noticed, 2 games that India won are the 2 games when Nicholas Pooran didn't score.
Did score.
Not a coincidence.
Every time Nicholas Pooran scored.
Yeah.
By the way, it's a funny fact about Nicky P. He was the player of the series, wasn't available to take the trophy because he's jetting off for some T20 tournament somewhere.
So imagine, this Windies team is
done. Pooran.
He hasn't, this team members aren't taking international cricket seriously, yet they have won.
Yeah.
I mean,
Went to West Indies.
By the way, that also answers your, getting tired. Nicholas Pooran, as he just explained, did not pick up the man of the series trophy because he's going for another tournament. Came for this series right after playing another tournament. He's getting runs, na? So it's not that you get tired.
He's not managing his workload.
He's not
the more he's playing, the better he's getting. And he's like, I'm in form, I'm going to make the most of it.
Yeah, but our Indian players...
He's working in the dollars, man.
See, our Indian players... They are not fatigued during IPL. 3 months, they are in top form. Rest of the 9 months, they want to workload management, rotation and all those things will happen.
Nicholas Pooran.
I think Gautam Gambhir rightly said a few months back that हमारे time पे क्या है workload management, batters के लिए कौन सी workload management? Batters, the more you play, workload management would be for seamers. Their back needs to be taken care of. Send it close to the IPL.
Fast bowlers also a lot of workload.
Also, if I do agree that you need one match winner in the middle order, just a little bit lower middle, but the problem there is you need to sort your the Sanju conundrum. Unfortunately, is because you want to play Sanju lower down the order. He quite frankly doesn't function over there well. Ideally, you could do, and I know this is going to sound very biased on my part, you could do with someone like a Rinku Singh.
Rinku Singh, yeah.
At number 6.
Not a bad show.
Wait, he's part of Island Tour, just wait.
Asian Games also he's playing at.
I think he's part of the Island Tour, just wait.
He could be in contention.
He could very easily be in contention.
For sure.
Bring him in there.
But the World Cup next year.
Next year you're saying as if that's so far away.
Yeah. See, Rinku Singh could very well be that.
I want him to be that.
Yeah.
And there is time enough for him to...
He's getting the ideal platform also against Ireland, so why not?
Where did that come from?
Nicholas Pooran.
Oh my
Nicholas
God.
Pooran loves dal makhni, so Shivam is saying we also have dal makhni.
Very good.
Shubham
Garg. Under Virat captaincy, Ind chose to bat first versus England at Wankhede. In must-win game, scored 240. We have to admit there is skill problem with Hardik and Sanju.
Hardik, I'll still give a little bit of a discount because again, not been playing much post IPL. Sanju, less so.
But again, today his batting, Hardik Pandya really let him down. Really let him down. And I think we have to address that because we didn't address the elephant in the room in Rohit Sharma for 1 year with his T20 form. 1 year. And now we said after the World Cup, oh, his T20 form is bad.
No, to be fair, last year I was concerned. I think a lot of us were.
Yeah, we were.
Singularity is saying, let's not get the disappointment overshadow the amazing result for West Indies. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Says Puran is a superstar. Yes, we spent some time discussing that. He says wish he played ODIs for West Indies. He did play ODIs during their qualification campaign, and yet they did not qualify. Just pointing out, FYI.
Yep.
So if you're looking for a parallel for Surya Kumar Yadav somewhere.
Actually, yeah, Nicky P is that person.
Yeah, but Nicholas Puran at least has scored.
He has that on his LSD jersey also.
Yeah.
Nicky P.
At least he scores hundreds and 50s, Nicholas Puran.
He got runs. He got runs.
Yeah, he did. Satish B is like saying, Brook will be trolled very badly after Gill performance and vice versa. Brook in Kiwi conditions scoring at 100. Start from one IPL season, can't judge him.
Straight from one
Straight
IPL
from
season.
one. Achha,
I mean,
in the Ashes he was good. In this
for the kind of role he was playing, he was very good. Won them one test match
Leeds.
also. Yeah.
Leeds, yeah.
Because again, he was meant to be that aggressor in the low middle order and was doing the job very well.
But he got overshadowed by Zach Crawley.
And for that matter, I'd say to an
Joe
extent,
Root.
No, not even Joe Root. Johnny Bairstow.
Yeah, Bairstow.
Who batted even after him.
Exactly.
99. That one milestone didn't give England the Ashes, by the way. Shubham, our problem is not number 4. The problem is entire 11.
We found someone more pessimistic than Siddharth.
It sounded so much like Siddharth sent that.
Phone's not here.
It's not about pessimism or optimism. It's just the language.
Yeah.
So much like
We
Siddharth.
don't have a team, and in last 2 weeks before ICC, you decide the 11. And jokes aside, it's a shame how we have done in ICC, been best team financially.
I agree. Considering this is a sport that 5 teams play seriously, being in the top 4 isn't enough. I'm being very honest.
And you call me a pessimist.
No, this is very realistic, boss. This is not the early 2000s era.
There's actually no escaping this fact.
There is not the early 2000s where 8 teams, you had 8 good teams, that you had a Champions Trophy that was actually competitive. 5 teams. In the top 3, Pakistan, and you can pick between South Africa and New Zealand. That's it.
Yeah.
And of their 5 teams, you're finishing only top 4, you're really not good.
No, that's 16.
Who's the 6th?
No, New Zealand, South Africa.
No, I said pick one between New Zealand and South Africa for the top 5. Okay, maybe I'm being a little harsh on New Zealand. They've done relatively
6.
well.
They won more.
6 and Bangladesh on a day, Afghanistan on their day.
But they can add best.
See, New Zealand.
We're stretching it. Oh.
See, New
Bangladesh.
No, they add best. They can call
Bangladesh
upsets.
knocked you out of 2007.
Yeah.
Almost last year as well.
And 2016.
And you talked about a rain delay.
That's a
And
bigger
KL
example.
Rahul's run out of.
Yeah, so it
Licked
happened
on dust.
after rain delay.
And 2016, they
If
knocked
it not
out
for them
almost.
bottling it. Yeah.
How could you lose from 2 runs needed of 3 balls, 3 wickets, and
You
to
did?
lose by 1 run? Hello, just ask Bangladesh. The 6th team, I would more than. You forgot one team. Yeah, they are also World Cup.
Please
winners. They
don't
won
say
of-
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka have become bunnies and bilaterals.
He's like,
Sri Lanka beat us. They were Asia Cup champions.
Exactly. They have won more Asia Cup. They have won more ICC tournaments than South Africa and New Zealand. Yeah. World Cup, Champions Trophy, World T20, and World T20 whom? By beating India. So,
last couple of questions.
okay, with 17 years of IPL, Sandeep Anand, the so-called greatest league not to win even one T20 World Cup is nothing less than.
Shameful.
Yeah. India is not even a top 5 team in T20. I will not be surprised we get humiliated in T20 World
Just
Cup.
screenshot this and keep this for India win the T20 World Cup.
So FYI, there are other people who are doing this. It's not me alone.
Who said it was you alone?
You all think that I am doing it. Okay.
Oh my God, wow. So Shivam says, in football, a heavyweight team like Argentina wins the World Cup, which has 32 teams in the tournament, and in cricket we have only 10.
See,
and
10.
only 6 teams, 10 teams overall, and only 6 capable of winning, then baffling. I still say 5.
Billy's
Singularity, writing on the wall. As fans, we better get prepared to write off next ODI and T20 World Cups. Okay, that's heights of pessimism. Rahul and Rohit are signing off post World Cup, and Hardik wants to be unique for all the wrong reasons. Back to the 90s India.
No,
90s is a darker time, man, please.
darker times.
Yeah.
We've been there.
There's no scandals coming up of that sort.
Not only scandals, but
You are
that-
tigers
those
at
days-
home,
yeah.
lambs abroad. Here, you're confused everywhere.
No.
And in white
Yeah,
ball
yeah, lambs
cricket-
everywhere.
In white ball cricket, you'd bottle games even at home. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who can forget Douglas Muralier, my friend, at Faridabad? He was the real pioneer.
yeah.
Douglas Muralier.
scoop
yeah.
shot.
The scoop shot, yep.
yeah, I was there at the game.
Ah, it was at, I think, Raja Nahar Singh Stadium,
Yeah,
right?
in Faridabad.
Faridabad, yeah. The only international it hosted.
Was it the only?
I think
have
they haven't
no
hosted
idea.
anything after that, I guess.
After that,
He's just
no, but I
saying
don't know
things at this
before
point.
that. No. But I covered that game. I remember.
Zahir Khan, 8 overs, 4 maidens, 4 for 14. Next 2 overs get hits for 35 runs by Mr.
And then
Muralier.
when I went to Zimbabwe, I interviewed Douglas.
Wow.
Few years.
The pioneer of the scoop shot, man.
Yep.
Faheen Ahmed with his first super chat.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome, fine.
And he's being very harsh too. He says it is pathetic and deplorable that a Mr. ICC, I'm
Is-
assuming he means Shikhar
Shikhar
Dhawan,
Dhawan, yeah.
is dropped to accommodate flat track superstars. These Gen Zs can earn more money but not ICC trophies. Very harsh.
The Zillennials.
No, but also give them time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them time.
I know.
Let this team, let's see now. Before they even fail, before they even reach the World Cup, we're writing them off basis this one bilateral series. Before this, you won every bilateral series.
You still weren't winning ICC tournaments.
Exactly.
In fact, Praneeth Datta says
Really
that
happy
he's really
for
happy
Windies.
for the Windies. They need, Praneeth, they needed this victory. I don't buy that sentiment because people said when they won in 2014 and 16 the World Cup, that'll lead to a
12-16.
revival. 12-16, it'll lead to a revival. They've only gotten worse. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yep. Divya Reddy from the US. Oof. She's harsher.
What's she saying?
Shane, it's all.
Flat wicket के शेर,
शेर,
बाकी
ये सारे
सारे
wicket
wicket पार
Parchuha.
पर
For
चूहा.
Choha.
You're basically lions on flat tracks and
Ooh.
yeah.
Public-
Tigers
public
at
is
home,
not
lambs
happy.
abroad. Ooh.
Public
Not even
is
lambs, yeah, mice. Mice.
Harshit,
They really wanted this win.
what are you going to do with the West Indies bilateral?
But
series?
also, let's be
की
honest, when
फर्क
you're-
पैंदा है?
नहीं, फर्क तो है।
It's like just the trophy that you're going to collect that Nicholas Pooran Merida series not even there to collect.
He's like, no, I need to play T20s, man.
He's got
gone.
to play some other series.
Yep.
What could he have gone for now? The 100? That's the only thing going on.
Maybe.
Because after that is CPL season.
But there is time.
No, but
No, August 17th, not
No,
that
no,
much
the
time.
CPL is starting now.
Exactly, it's August 17th.
days.
23rd.
There we go.
Yeah,
It's
but
starting-
didn't have to go for
But
that
why-
now.
why would
No, no,
he have-
100%.
He could have caught a flight 2 hours later.
Maybe he has to.
Either the 100 or LPL.
Camp.
So one or the other.
Maybe he has to-
Those are the only things going on.
Lanka Premier League. My God, he'll. Okay, so he will travel for 2 days, play 1 or 2 games, come back for the CPL.
Yeah, why not?
Very busy.
Money talks, my friend.
Yeah.
My goodness, Lanka Premier League, man. That's
Oh,
a big
either that or
elevation.
the 100, one or the other.
Must
Those
be
are
the
the things
100.
going on.
Must be the 100.
No, why couldn't it be the LPL?
Too far and less.
How many from London? Add another 6-7 hours. Huh?
Huh.
Then get
Plus, he's catching
And
a
he'll
flight
come
almost
via-
immediately
but let that
after.
go- Then I'll come via UAE only, I'm guessing.
Like, imagine telling some old timer cricketer that no, he's not there to collect his man of the series prize, flying out for a league match. Just imagine
What
having that
commitment.
conversation.
What
Oh,
commitment.
I agree though. Next level.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Shaker is having a dig at me from the US.
Come on,
Suggest
Shaker.
malfunctioning Sid GPT, okay, to recheck how an arrogant attitude towards opposition and downplaying them already cost you 2016, CT17 and early exit in 2021. My malfunctioning has now been totally corrected and the message is do not support India. Simple. Yep. Do not
Big
support
statement on the
India.
basis of 2 things. One, poor guy's heart is broken because in the mid innings he picked India still to win.
Exactly.
I don't know how, but he did. And then secondly, because they've not won a bilateral series against West Indies.
That's the key operator against
It's
the
not like
West
a World
Indies.
Cup game that you lost in the semi-final once again. If it happened another in this World Cup and you said it, I would take it. It's a bilateral series. Doesn't matter.
I mean, see,
And this is now
see the
only
losses.
a new team, yeah.
See the losses against if India lose to Sri Lanka, if India lose to New Zealand, it hurts very, very less because New Zealand are my practical favorites. Sri Lanka are sentimental favorites.
And India.
My ultimate challenge in 2023 is when New Zealand take on Sri Lanka, who to support. at that time.
What first world problems he has?
Final
Seriously.
question. It's been a
Final
long
question
night.
from Rahul Meghani from Canada saying, we were bilateral kings.
Now we are terrible at
Terrible at both.
Can't use that word.
Yeah.
Maybe saying that because what? We lost against Bangladesh the ODI series and now.
Of course.
Let's
But
not forget
it's
that.
Bangladesh. So what?
So I say it's not about
Bangladesh
bilaterals.
have a good record at home.
So what?
ODIs.
So what? It's
But
just
by the way, this is
Bangladesh.
the same Bangladesh who Afghanistan went and thrashed.
Yeah.
So let's check that.
Okay, so
He's saying it's not about bilaterals, but losing to West Indies that hurts. Say what you will about batting, bowling is also hopeless. I mean, there are a few worries in bowling for sure, like Yuzi's form,
Yuzi's
Arshdeep's
form, yeah.
form. I think those are the two big worries. But some of your top fast bowlers are also not available, and even Jadeja is not available. So all of that. But I agree, Yuzi and Arshdeep, because those two I was pinning a lot of hope on, thinking that they will be your regulars and do. Their form, I agree, is a
yeah.
bit worrisome.
Binod.
Binod.
Binod. So nice they named him twice.
Twice, I know.
Eric Jemba.
Yeah.
Says,
Oh yeah.
Jemba.
so nice they named him twice. There was another, there's JJ Kocha again.
JJ.
So
No,
Binod.
but that's one name. Like the Indian footballer also JJ.
JJ Lal.
No, JJ was JAY-JAY. So it's like that. Same like.
But wasn't it like one word? No.
No.
Like
It was
this JJ
hyphenated.
is JEJ.
Yeah, that's JJ Lal Pehlu.
Yeah.
No. This JJ is JAY/JAY. Same
more.
with like Jemba.
No, one more. John Smuts.
John Smart.
John
Yes,
Smuts.
yes.
Yeah.
So Binod says,
Unless those names, sometimes you have the middle name of the father also. So sometimes it's John.
could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Possible.
Yep.
And so for JJ.
JJ.
So Binod says, why can't Tilak play ODI World Cup at number 4-5 plus provide a bowling option? England played Brook last year in the T20 World Cup and he made his debut in June 2022.
Dekh raha hai Binod. You are mixing formats.
No, leave that. Also, England were very settled. Brook was the one major change that they made for one very simple reason. Because they had a bit of an injury crisis.
Yeah.
They had to accommodate, they had Reece Topley. He
huh.
got injured.
And Roy was dropped.
Roy was dropped, that was fine. Because they already had Butler and Besto.
Hale, yeah.
Besto got injured, they brought back Hales.
Toe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, not toe, that was that
Golf accident.
He
September.
hurt his toe,
No.
September. He had a freak golf accident where he broke his leg and he was out for 7 months.
Yeah, that was not toe. So there was only one change which they had to make, and they said that rather than go with another bowler, and they had David Willey, who would have been a close back-to-back. They said no, we'll accommodate Brook and extend our batting because we already have 3 all-rounders anyway. That's a luxury, boss. It's a luxury because there's a very settled side already. Our team is anyway not settled, and you want to muddy the water further.
And different formats. Brook, Binod is saying until
I don't have to call him by 2 names. Yeah.
so Dekh raha hai Binod.
Maybe that's it.
Binod. Actually, that's true.
So until June till October, what was he playing? T20s, right? Tilak is playing T20 and you want to rush him in for World Cup for an ODI. No, yaar, not happening. Binod.
Final question now. Absolute final.
Comment of the day.
What's
We
the
keep
total?
learning, but when do we start applying?
Good question, Karthik. World Cup.
Hopefully.
Yes. Then we start applying.
Life is a lesson.
Yes. Okay. Bye. See you. It was good having you guys. Preet, lovely to have you. He's already said Vanakkam. He knows that's our sign off. Subscribe to Sports Today if you haven't already. If you're joining us right now, go back. We've discussed various things. We'll be back tomorrow for various other videos as well as our flagship show, The Dugout.
Kya khoya, kya paya.
Something.
Babe.
Something.
Bye. Good night.
Nandri.
Vanakkam.